programming methodology is not suitable for medium and large projects because it is designed for couple of months project, 2 months, 3 months, small project. Outsourcing, because we have face-to-face meetings with the customer, strong collaboration with the customer, and outsourcing as a software company, you are a customer and you have customer and software company, another company from where you are outsourcing, you are customer for them. So there is no direct interaction of that software company with actual customer. You are in between, middle party. So there is no direct communication. So outsourcing also not suitable because 2 months or 2 weeks for one release is not enough that you communicate with the customer and then you will communicate with the software company will send you the release to you and then you will send to the actual customer. So time consuming. Same for distributed development environment takes twice as double time as co-located team at single location. I gave example of Nokia company. They have one office in Finland. The designers were in Finland. It's a Finland-based company, Nokia, and programmers were in China, in Beijing. And designers have direct communication with the stakeholders. What the design they agreed with the programmers in the China, they fixed that, they code that. Meanwhile, designers already changed the design because of the new requirements are coming from the customer. So there was a delay. There was delay in delivery. And then Nokia company called Alistair Cockburn, the Agile coach from USA. Why we are not able to implement Agile? What's the problem? He communicated with the both teams and then he said, either you move the designers from Finland to China or programmers to Finland. So then Nokia company moved designers to China and problem was fixed because close interaction. Then I gave example of my student. He was working in a top company. Its name is TechLogix of Pakistan, established in 1980s. My student Usman was team lead for one of the projects and American client was there. Customer was in USA. So when the team used to come in evening because days started in USA to match with the same time. Because when we have day, they have night. When they have day, we have night in Pakistan. But the problem was the tester, the quality assurance guy was used to come in the morning. That there was no dedicated tester for that team. And there was a delay in delivery. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the programmers finished one release and morning tester came and put some observation, change this, change this, change this. When they fixed those, the next day he put some other reservation because there was no direct interaction. And by the time they come, he left. When he came, they left early morning. The whole night they worked. And then the boss, chief executive, was very angry. And they have posters of the current projects, running projects, like we have posters of completed 498, 499 in the corridors. And he came very angry and he called my student early morning instead of evening, come in the morning. So our team leads were there and he was very angry, shouting, who is the lead for this project? He knows he is the team lead, but just to insult him in front of the others. Then he said, sir, I am the lead. Okay, come to my office. Like this style, the boss style. Then he went to his office. Why there is delay? He said, sir, the tester put some observation, we fixed those observations, he put new observation, then in this we don't have direct interaction. Give us one tester to work with us in the night, or 1 or 2. Within 1 week release will be there. Because everything is ready. But because he is not approving, so we can't ship it to the customer for testing. For alpha or beta. Because half team was in USA. But you have to pass from here. Then you can send to USA team. And then they can call the customer for alpha testing or beta testing, whatever. Then one dedicated tester was allocated to the team. Within 1 week, release was there because close interaction immediately fixed the issues. Agreed? No more? Okay, khalas, done. And meanwhile, he found a new job. And when the releases start going, delivering like 1 week, 2 weeks, he went to his office. Thank you very much. This is my resignation. You insulted me in front of our team members and in front of my colleagues. And I have a new job with better salary, better remuneration. Thank you very much. So close interaction will fix that problem. Collaboration. But in case of distributed team, it's not possible. Like even team was present at same location, but they were not interacting with each other. Tester was working in the day and the programmers were working in the night. I remember another case of Sweden-based company. They have also had the same issue. The requirements were not clear because stakeholders directly come to the programmers asking them change this. Like you came, you are the stakeholder. So I start making changes. What you are asking me, meanwhile he is the stakeholder. He can stop this, do this. First do this. Then middle of the code, he stopped that code and start working on the new code, new requirement. And there was mess. There are a lot of bugs. Release was not stable. And there was gaming competition, poker gaming competition. And 3 months left and the game was not stable because messy code and stakeholders were bombarding them. So there was pressure, there was stress. And then they hired Scrum Master, a Scrum product owner, Scrum, experienced guy. He asked the stakeholders, no direct interaction with the team. Come to me. I will give requirements to the team members. So stop this direct interaction pressurizing the team members and stopping them middle of the code and asking them to start the new code. And one thing that I want to indicate, he asked the team member, don't sit in your offices, like programming team separate office, testing team separate office, database team separate office, configuration team separate office. He asked them to sit in a hall, like we have a hall. He arranged their tables next to each other. So direct interaction, face to face, immediately fix the issue. And he start giving them requirement in a smooth way, not pressurizing them. So first month, releases start becoming stable, no pressure was there on the team, and then at the time of gaming competition, it was successful. So because of close interaction and stop direct interaction of the stakeholders with the teams, transform the favored team to a successful team.
Why the companies do that? One say you do that and the other say you. It's like
because stakeholders don't understand. Some stakeholders are not IT people, and they don't understand the agile methodology, agile, what is called. It's a different approach. It's not like the traditional approach. In the agile, you have 1 to 2 weeks, and in the 1 to 2 weeks, if you play with the requirements, you play with the code, it will not be successful. Like if I have to finish course in 1 day, will it be smooth or understandable for the students? No. The same day, we have 1 to 2 weeks. Requirements should be very clear and should be 2 or 3 requirements in one release. Don't try to cover more. Small requirements, break down them and try to have successful release. In the next release, entertain some new requirements to have update in that release. This is the process. If you follow this process, then you will be successful. Otherwise, many teams fail because they don't apply Agile in its true spirit. They don't understand the philosophy. That it's not like traditional, it's a different style. So you have to follow the principles and then you have to execute them as per the requirements. You have to tailor. It's not as it is you apply and you think it will be successful. You have to tailor it as per the needs of project, as per needs of requirements, as per needs of the stakeholders, as per the deadlines. So you have to be very tactical. You should have training. Like I remember one software company for the realestate.com, I already gave example, the USA. Infosys Indian company failed for this realestate.com project ERP system. 50 states they are working for ijar, rent, purchase, buying and selling the property. But they are at the large scale, they are working at 50 states. So they have offices in 50 states and they need ERP system. The project manager of the Infosys, he thought it's an ERP system. He tried to collect all requirements comprehensively. So he wasted 2 years for planning, analysis, design, documentation. After 2 years, customer was frustrated. Stakeholders were frustrated, like nose level. Where is software? You wasted 2 years and still you are taking interviews, questionnaires, prototypes, feedback, JAD session. Where is the actual business for which we hire you? We sign the contract with you. Then realestate.com signed the contract with Pakistani company. Its name was Descon Infosys. It's also Infosys, but Descon Infosys. But before signing the contract of ERP system, customer asked the team to develop a pilot project of 3 months. Part of the project, pilot, using agile style, and in the contract it was written that every 2 weeks one working release will be there. If you fail, we cancel the contract and we will not sign ERP system with you. That is the actual goal. This pilot project is like just to test. They have the ability to deliver or not. In 2 weeks, one working release. Now they were frustrated. They don't want the previous experience, the bad experience. So they put like benchmark, threshold, 2 weeks for 1 week.
Deadline.
Huh?
Deadline.
Yeah, deadline. Must 2 weeks, must deliver one working release. So they can use it. No prototype, working. And before that, they asked the team, the customer asked the team to get training from Agile coach, Mike Cohen, who is the guru who designed this, one of the gurus who designed this Agile manifesto, Agile principles. He has his own company, Mike Cohen. Mountain Goat software, if you check on the Google, you will find Mountain Goat software. Mike Cohen. So Mike Cohen trained them before starting this project. So company invested money to get training from this company, the Agile coach, Agile Scrum trainer, certified trainer, and as per the customer's agreement, contract, they successfully delivered the pilot project. Then the company signed the ERP system contract with them. On the top of that, they said, we don't want that you have half team in Pakistan, bring the whole team here in USA, and we want you to develop software within our premises. So we can have direct interaction, close interaction. No need that software company and then it comes to our site. Within our site, we will give you whatever you need, resources, computers, servers, whatever you want, but sit in our premises. So we can have direct interaction with you, close interaction, face to face. 2007, 2008, I'm talking. Till today, that project is in progress. So they are developing one system. Yeah, because it's ERP. So one, second, third, it's ongoing. Yes.
Does the stockholder have the right to take all the employees and put them in?
They were the employees of Descon, but he said, you work within our premises. And we give you H1 visa. And on the top of that, bring your family here. Because if your family, your wife, your kids are in Pakistan, then you will miss them and then you will ask for leave, break to go there to meet them after 6 months or more. We don't want. Bring them here. We don't want that electricity is not working in Pakistan, your server is down there, you have so many problems, political problems, social problems. So we want you to be here. Bring your family here, sit within our premises, so we can see you and you can see us. Close interaction. And Agile in its true spirit, customer and the software company work together, consistent work till completion. So it's consistently, they are collaborating with each other. Face-to-face meeting, also face-to-face.
Doctor, you said in prototyping that when the customer meets the software company, a lot is the disadvantage because the customer don't have time. What is making it?
But because you are delivering working version every 2 weeks, it's not like after 6 months or 1 year you are delivering the software, then the end user will say, this is not what I said. Because now this deadline 2 weeks. And the company hired 4 teams, so instead of 1 release, they are delivering 4 releases after 2 weeks to make customer further happy. So customer are asking 1 working release, they are delivering 4 working releases. 4 at a time with 4 parallel teams. So customer is happy, you are happy because money is coming instead of 1 release, money is coming for 4 releases. Because you hire 4 teams in parallel, so instead of 1 release, payment is coming for 4 releases. Customer is happy, you are happy. So both parties are happy. And that is the reason from 2007, 2021, it's still ongoing.
And it's still development.
Yeah. Because ERP system. So one system they completed, then second, then third, then fourth. Any other question? Reusable component based development, it is also not suitable for extreme programming because you are developing in hurry, in fast, and you are not considering the detailed architecture, not considering that we will use these components in the future because 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. So your objective is to deliver the software, working software in couple of months. Small websites, not medium and large projects. Pair programming is a limitation because if pairs are not synchronized with each other, they are not have the same mental level. They are not friends. They dislike each other. Then they will try to pull the legs of each other. Bad politics to prove that I know more than you. Or maybe one senior, one junior, so junior will feel the senior is trying to show that I know more than you because I am a senior, I am an experienced guy. Or senior will feel that junior is trying to become over smart with me and he is trying to show I know more than you. Then there will be conflict on everything, and instead of production, increasing the productivity, it will be negative impact, less productivity, decreased productivity. So pair programming is only effective if pair are friends and they have same school of thoughts, they are synchronized, same level are they. Otherwise, it's not suitable. Size, large teams are not suitable. because we don't have time to deal with the large teams, more meetings, istama, like 100 team members. The ideal team size for Agile is 3 to 5 for one team, and most of the companies 5 to 7, max 10, maximum 10 team members in one team. Otherwise, recommended team size 3 to 5 in one team, excluding the project manager and the other guys, the programmer, the tester, the designer, the configuration manager, the architect. Only one specialized people, skilled people.
Doctor, in the Disca company said that they have 4 parallel teams and they release 4 releases.
Yes.
How can they, is after the one team finish, give the work to the other team, or how is it work?
Each team was working on different system. Otherwise, they need to integrate. So each team, they integrate with their own release, not with the release of the other team. Otherwise, it will take more time. Because four different modules of one system, 4 teams are working, then they need to have communication with each other. Then it will take time to communicate, like team lead A with team lead B, then team lead C, then team lead D. A, B, C, D. Then this A, B, C, D, then they will communicate with their team. So meeting of the top layer and then the lower layer. So you need more time for meetings. So to stop that, each team is working on different system. Like HR, human resource, team A. Attendance, team B. Payroll, team C. Customer relationship, team D. So each team is working on different system. So the next release, they have to integrate with their own release. They don't need to communicate with the team B or C or D.
So everyone is working at separate parts.
Yes. Otherwise, you need to have integration of those 4 releases with each other.
Okay.
And then it takes time to communicate with each other, to resolve the conflicts, integration constraints, such things you will feel. It will take time. And you don't have time because 2 weeks are there. 2 weeks means 10 working days. Invariably we say 2 weeks. Actually 5 plus 5, 10 working days. And in America, 8 hours per day is the fixed. You cannot ask your employee to work even 8 hours, 1 minute extra. By law, it's haram. He can go to the court. He can sue you. So you cannot force him to work 40 hours per week, more than 40 hours per week, even single minute. So 40 hours per week, 2 weeks, 80 hours. In 80 hours, you have to do planning, analysis, design, code, testing, alpha, beta, maintenance, because defect report, fix that report, maintenance, and release the final version, publish the final version, deploy for 80 hours. And 80 hours, you don't have time to meet with team B, team C, team D. So each team is responsible for their own system, for its own system. Otherwise, you need more meetings, more maintenance, because each team has its own logic. Programmers have their own logic. So at the later level, once they have developed the system, then you have the integration. And the beauty is that now you have tools. Like there is a tool, its name is Docker. Automated integration tool. It's a container. You have Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac, Sun Solaris. You develop software for Windows, it automatically have APIs for Linux, for Unix, for Mac, so you don't need to worry, you don't need to bother that we need to have adaptive maintenance, the APIs for Linux, for Unix, for Mac, for Sun Solaris. So such APIs are automatically there. You load your tool, your software there. As per the operating system of the customer, that API will be there and it will execute to resolve the integration constraints, to minimize the integration constraints. Yes.
If some team has a problem, it will not affect other
No,
teams.
because they are developing their own releases, separate system. At the integration level, they will integrate that tool. They have configuration management tool, so they will integrate there. And then at the integration level, we have integration team. They are responsible to have the integration constraints. They will manage. It's not your problem because you have integration team. And then you have a configuration manager. He will test it before there is a label that this release is ready for delivery. Accepted, alpha, beta, now publishable. So, integration team will test it, then configuration manager will test it. And then he will label it ready to publish.
So it's like quality assurance.
Programmer will test, tester will test, integration team will test, configuration manager will test. Check, 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 4 checks are before publishing the final version. Any other question? Re-engineering the software. Re-engineering is difficult because we don't develop the software by keeping in mind for updates or later on upgrades or re-engineer. So these are the main problems of XP methodology. So you need customized methodology to deal with these problems.
So, if the documentation is not a lot, is it hard to maintain?
We never say documentation is not allowed. We say minimum documentation.
I mean, if the documentation is minimum, is it hard for them to maintain it, or?
For small projects, minimum documentation. If you customize it, then you need necessary documentation. If you want to use it for medium and large project, then you have to provide the strong documentation. Because strong documentation means strong architecture, solid foundation. Then you can apply on medium and large projects. It will not be XP, it will be customized XP. So XP was introduced by Kent Beck was there, and Scrum was introduced by Ken Schwaber. And early 2000, 2001 to 2010 was the era of XP. 2010 onwards is the era of Scrum till today. By my experience, 2001 to 2010 XP was the most widely used agile methodology. And after 2011, as this era started, Scrum was there. And it's widely used because of so many advantages with limitations. XP has strong engineering practices. We have pair programming, we have TDD, we have small releases, continuous integration, metaphor, code ownership, such practices are there. Scrum is good in management practices. So XP and Scrum you integrate, hybrid. So Scrum is the best suitable to integrate with other agile methodologies. So it's adaptable with XP, it's adaptable with Agile Unified Process, it's adaptable with ASD, Adaptive Software Development, adaptable with DSDM, adaptable with Crystal. So with other agile methodologies, it's the best suitable to integrate because of strong management practices. Scrum has values. Like Agile Manifesto, we have 4 values: prefer people over methodologies or tools, processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration, prefer customer collaboration, coordination, communication over contract negotiation, respond to change over following a strict plan like plan-driven methodologies. Scrum has its own values. Scrum has its own values. Scrum values. Deliver every sprint or demo. Deliver every in release is called sprint. You know sprint? In Scrum it is called sprint. Instead of word release, it's called sprint. Deliver every sprint or demo. Sprint or demo. Value number 1. Then inspect daily, test daily. We have testing normal. Inspect daily. But here, this inspection is not like the normal inspection. Testing is not like the normal testing. Before starting the work, you have meeting, daily meeting. In that, you discuss what are the problems we faced yesterday, how to fix them, and then you think about the task of today. So previous day stack should be cleared, then move. No overflow. Don't have, we have work and yesterday work, first fix this and then move. So no previous dues are there. Like you want to take loan and you have already loan. You want to take new loan and you are already paying for the previous loan, previous dues are clear and you are asking for new loan. If you are not able to manage previous loan, how you will manage the new loan? First finish that, clear that, pipeline should be clear. Then you take the next task. Like you have 40 hours per week load and it's already 40 hours and you take more. You take another project. Can you do that? No. So it will be delayed in both projects. Both projects will fail because of temptation for greediness, more money. So clear your previous task and then take, so inspect daily, test daily, daily inspection. Any error, any requirement is not clearly implemented, unclear requirement, unclear architecture, unclear code, not functional, not user friendly, fixed, then perform the task, take the task of today. To test daily. Then you have Scrum Master, a new role is introduced. New term is introduced. Scrum Master. Scrum Master is a chief impediment remover. Impediment means any hurdles, any difficulties, any problems of the team. He is not a member of any team. Programming team, testing team, database team, configuration team, architecture team. He is a reserve guy. He is a facilitator. If programming team is facing some problem, he is there to help them. Testing team has some problem, he is there to help them. Configuration team needs some help, he is there. Architecture team needs some help, he is there. So he's like fluid, like lubricant of your engine. If they have coordination problem, communication problem, meeting problem, he is there to help them. He is a reserve force. Like I remember the case of Hazrat Khalid bin Walid radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He was our brave commander and successful commander against the Romans and the Persians. He has strategy, tactic. He has always reserve force, spare force, separately, hidden. And at the time of battle, when any part, any wing, wings are there. You have right wing, you have left wing, and you have the middle. If right wing is getting weakness, this reserve force will be there to help them, to push back the enemy. If left wing need help, they are there. So this wing knows whenever I need help, it will come from the back to push the enemy. And because of this strategy, enemy think that how many soldiers they have at the reserve. He is always confused. So it's psychological victory that they have reserve force. Whenever they need help, they come, hit and go back, disappear. Suddenly come, hit and go back. How many they have? So that means they have extra force there. Same style they have taken for the Scrum Master. Scrum Master is a spare member. He is not free. It's not free job. But he is there. The team knows whenever I need help, this guy is there to help me. And it's very successful. Now you have certified Scrum Master training by Agile coaches. Because it's a tactical job, skillful job that you have to work among all teams, multi-skilled. You are multi-skilled. You have that skill, then you can help the testing team, programming team, configuration team, architect team. You have that skill, you are specialized and you know that area, then you can help them. Otherwise, first they will explain you and then you will try to do something. Maybe you are not skilled, you gave them wrong solution. You provide them wrong solution and further problem.
Just one person to every team.
He will be there. Whenever you need help, he will be there to help you. So he is specialized, multi-skilled person and he can work among all teams to arrange meetings, coordination, communication, as a spare force, extra force to help them. So this is new role introduced in Scrum. Then let the team decide. Let the team decide. Cross functional. You have stories, requirements, we call them stories in Agile. We have product owner, which is double role. I explained the last lecture. Product owner prioritize the stories. Prioritize the stories, prioritize the requirement, first requirement, second requirement, third requirement, first number 1, then number 2, number 3. It's called sprint backlog, a product backlog. This product backlog, team has a meeting, sprint planning meeting. In the sprint planning meeting, team will have decide the sprint backlog. How many stories they will pick from this product backlog, it's up to them. Nobody will force them. Select 2 or 3 or 4. Let the team decide how they will do, how many they will pick. Nobody will push them. They may pick 1 or 2 or 3 as per the size of the story. And on the top of that, let them decide their role. Programmer, tester, database designer, configuration manager, integration manager. So they are cross-functional. They are also multi-skilled. Advantage is that if any team member left, resign, you can play the role of that missing person. Because you are multi-skilled. Programmer can work as a tester, tester can work as a database designer can as an architect can work as a configuration manager, integration manager. These are the 5 values of Scrum. Other than the top 4 values of Agile Manifesto, working software, prefer people. So 4 plus 5, 9. Yes.
Isn't like Agile, Scrum?
Agile is Scrum.
They have similar.
It is Agile methodology, which is the most widely methodology after 2011 till today. Microsoft is also using Agile Scrum. They have in MSI, Microsoft Solution Framework, they have picked the Scrum practices, Scrum principles, Agile with the top of Agile principles, with XP practices. Yahoo, they are also using that. Many software companies already switched to Scrum.
Do you use customized Scrum or?
Yes. There is no question about it. Because companies already using one methodology, they cannot throw in the dustbin or trash. What they do, they will tailor it as it suits to them. Or I remember one Australian company, they are using traditional methodology. Now they want to implement Agile. If I'm not mistaken, it's Australia or USA. I think it's USA, Boston, Texas. Yes. What the company does, they hire Agile teams, new teams. They rent new building. Hired Agile teams, new team members. No interaction of the new employees with the previous employees. It is separate office. This is separate office. So these employees don't know that these employees are using traditional methodologies. There is no interaction among them. Separate. And now from the scratch they started the Agile. Because as a new startup, because this startup was only for Agile. Those started with XP, Scrum, and again customized. Because XP is separate methodology, Scrum is separate methodology. But you have customized the hybrid one, XP and Scrum together. Or Scrum with Crystal, or Scrum with ASD, or DSDM, or Agile Unified Process. Whoever the product manager there, project manager there, whatever the skill he had, what he has experienced from the previous company, they started using that. That is possible. But don't expect, even he has experience of the tailored XP or Scrum, what he implemented in this company. Not in its true spirit XP, true spirit Scrum. No. So that is some introduction about the.
Doctor,
Yes.
that's good. The Scrum have a new role, which is the Scrum Master. If this like an hybrid or customized, how can they apply.
Scrum Master was no role in any existing methodologies. It's a new idea to have a reserved team member, extra spare team member. So if any of the team needs his help, he is there to facilitate as a gel, as a lubricant, to run all parts, to push them. When they are stuck up, they need, sometimes you need a little help to push. Same thing. Any team member needs, any 2 team members, 3 team members needs help, he is there, little help, little push, and done. So it's a new idea. Many of the agile ideas are new, like test-driven development. Use automated testing tools and design your test classes first before writing the code. It was never been implemented. This was totally new. This 1 week, 2 weeks idea, it was also new. You shifted months into weeks, weeks into days. It's a totally different attitude, different style. So you have even still customized agile methodology, XP or Scrum or hybrid. It has this SDLC, but this is not the actual SDLC. Actual SDLC is plan, build, test, review, release or sprint. Plan, build, test, review. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. What is missing here? This is the SDLC of Scrum. What is missing here?
Test.
Huh? Anything missing here?
Plan.
Plan is there.
Analysis.
There is no analysis, there is no design. But it's not mean you are not doing. You are doing part of that in plan, part of that in the build. To speed up the process. To speed up, to trigger it fast. So plan, build, test. So plan means you are doing analysis also here. And build means the design and the code. You can generate the code from design, re-engineering. And then you have refactoring code, refactoring design, refactoring, improve the code without changing the design, improve the design without changing the code. Test, review. Make test, review, and then including the alpha, beta, maintenance. Directly, there is no maintenance word here. But testing means under implicit, not explicit, implicit, hidden. You are doing maintenance. Because you are so specialized, no need to explicitly, clearly mention that after testing you have to do maintenance. And then you do review, verification, and then done. So we have this flow. Scrum has a flow. We have, as I just said, product backlog, by the product order, sprint planning meeting, sprint backlog, sprint, shippable product, shippable product, sprint review. Here, after that sprint review, meeting, the review, and shippable product. So you have product backlog by the product owner. The team will do sprint planning meeting. They will decide the sprint backlog. Sprint is there. Then they will review it, and then shippable product ready release. That is the flow of Scrum. Any question up to him? Scrum benefits. The product is broken down into set of manageable and understandable chunks like the XP. Unstable requirements do not hold progress because you clear them. The previous dues, like previous task, finish. Whole team has the visibility of everything and team communication is improved. Customer see on-time delivery. Trust between the customers and the developers. Is any disadvantage of Scrum? Advantages are there. Disadvantage. Any disadvantage of Scrum? Any problem with Scrum?
Not suitable for large projects.
Not suitable for large projects. It can work for small, it can work for medium. But for large projects, this strategy, this style doesn't work. You need to customize it. If you want to apply Scrum for large projects, very good. Any other problem? If team is not specialized, Scrum Master is not certified, he cannot execute his role, he cannot remove the barriers among the team members, and instead of success, instead of early delivery, they will be late. And product owner, if he misunderstood the requirements from the customer, he gave wrong prioritize the product owner prioritize. If he wrongly prioritize, customer will say, no, this is not my early, this was not the first requirement I want this requirement to be the first one. Then it will come back and forth cycle, and instead of success. So these are the some of the limitations of Scrum. All process models have activities. All process models, all methodologies, they have common activities. They have specifications, they have design, implementation, validation, evolution. So these process activities are common for all methodologies, traditional and the modern. Structured, object-oriented, plan-driven, and the agile. Software specifications. Let me have this here. Get to write. It's no dust. I have to show. Let us. Thank you. You have planning phase. After planning phase, you have a document. It is called project specs. Project specifications. Specs, in short. Project specs is also called proposal or baseline document. Once you complete planning phase, you have project specs, and you have to submit this project specs to the customer, because customer has not signed contract with you. Like 498, 499, your capstone project, you will submit a proposal to your supervisor or a committee. And then supervisor or committee will approve. Yes, you can do this project as your capstone project or change the idea. Same software company will submit project specs to the customer, not one company. He will ask 3 or 4 companies to submit project specs, like Microsoft,
So it's like an offer.
like quotation, like bidding,
Yes. Same idea.
same idea. Like you want to purchase hardware for FCIT, you will ask Dell, HP, Lenovo, Toshiba to submit their quotations that how much they will charge for, like you want 100 computers for the labs. What is the warranty? How much is the warranty period? 1 month, 1 year, 6 months, free. Free replacement of the parts, then maintenance technical support after that. Then FCIT will decide to purchase from Dell or from HP or Lenovo or Toshiba or Samsung or any other company. Same here, customer will ask 3 or 4 companies to submit project specs. Like we have hardware specs, we have project specs. Proposal academically we say, and sometimes we say baseline because it's a foundation for the project. Project specs has 3 main contents. We have project intro, action, we have feasibility assessments, and we have management issues. There are 3 main contents of project specs. Even for your 498, you have to do that. Detail I will cover in 456, the track course, software economics course. But just to touch it, as name, you are introduce the project. Introduction means you will introduce the project. What is the project? What are the functions? What are the inputs? And feasibilities, we have economic feasibility, technical feasibility, operational feasibility, schedule feasibility. There are 4 types of feasibilities. Economic is the most important one, the funds.
Gotcha.
How much you will charge to the customer. This customer is also interested. How much you charge to the customer and what are the benefits of this project to the customer in terms of values. Because investor only understand one terminology, that is the Falus terminology. That he will spend 1 real, 10 real will come or not. If he spend 1 million, 10 million will come or not. If you tell him you will spend 1 million or 9 million and you will not cover that cost, he will say forget about it. I don't need this project. I don't need this software. If you say yes, spend 9 million for 1 module of SAP, you will have the profit, and not only 9 million will be covered, and on the top of that you have profit. Then it's okay. Then I will go for SAP.
So it's like a competition between companies?
Yes, of course, because customer has not signed contract with any company. You did not win the project, you have to win it. So your cost should be close to the competitors. It should not be more, it should not be less. More mean, he will think, why so high? If it is less, he will say, why so less than the other 2-3 companies? It should be close But like SAP, cost is more. But SAP is more professional, more reliable, more secure, and more widely practiced. So then your cost can be little high. Oracle is number 2 in terms of ERP system commercial, and then Microsoft Dynamics is the number 3 because they introduced late. SAP is introduced in 1972.
If the prices are similar, what is the thing that will make the customer want?
Benefits and professional and the history of the company, reputation of the company, experience of the company in the similar projects. What is the track record? How much they are good in such projects? Because in the market, customers, chief executives know each other. One successful customer will bring 10 customers. One failed project will cancel the market for you, close, kafar, open bakala, apple panda, Danu, forget about software company. It's not your business. It's not your domain. So they know each other. They are in the market. They have meetings, top executives. So they already know the reputation of the company. But just to compare the prices and to have formal procedure to assign the contract to you, they will do this procedure. For example, maybe they already decide to use SAP, but to have official formal procedures, they announced it. Then they invite 3 or 4 companies like Microsoft, Oracle, SAP to compare the prices, and then project manager will present project specs to the customer that these benefits will bring your cost, will return your cost, return on investment and such things, what benefits. And another thing, it will give an idea to the employees before detailed analysis is made. Because they know such kind of questions that will come in the analysis, user can make up their mind. So team can understand, customer can understand. That is the project specs. After that, you have functional specs. In the analysis phase, you have functional specs. Functional specs is also called SRS. Any idea about SRS? System requirements specs. System requirements specifications. In function specs or system requirement specs, you have summary of requirements, functional and non-functional. Non-functional requirements. Summary of for functional requirements and the non-functional requirements. Then you model them. Model the requirements. How you model? I already covered the modeling technique. What technique we use to model the requirements? When I cover the techniques of the analysis phase. For structured, we use data flow diagrams. For object-oriented, UML, use case, class, sequence. Then you have data modeling. This is for front end, this is for back end. Back end architecture. What is data modeling? When I covered the techniques, I covered that. Data modeling.
Very good development of the system.
Data modeling is the backend architecture. What is data modeling? Data modeling is used to establish the relations or constraints between or among the data. You have schema architecture, logical schema, or conceptual schema, internal or physical schema, external or user view schema. Logical, the conceptual ERD, entity relationship diagram for data modeling if you are using structured. If you are using object oriented, you will do at what level? If you are using object oriented, at what level? At class diagram level or object diagram. Class diagram or object diagram to have logical schema. But in structure you have normalization, but we don't do normalization in the analysis, we will do normalization in the physical, in the design phase. So your function specs is complete. Then you have design specs. Design specs. We also call it technical specs. Design specs or technical specs. Technical. Some software companies, they mix function specs and design specs together and they call it as technical specs. Like I gave you example of Desktop on Infosys that I saw 2 pages of use case description with interface specs, including the interface. So that means it was in technical specs, not function specs. Functional plus design together as technical. So under the design specs you have screenshots, I/O screens, input output screens, and for the data modeling normalization, but only for structured. In object entry you don't have normalization because objects are already normalized. Then you have for the physical, you physically construct the database, physical schema. Physically construct the database, tables and fields. Database, tables and fields. Hierarchical chart if you are using structured for functional decomposition. Hierarchical if you are using structured. Then algorithm, algo modeling, pseudocode, flowchart. So flowchart is the most widely used, but software companies don't go for flowchart even because they are enough skilled that from the diagram, use case, class, the interface specs, they can directly go to the code. They don't go for flowchart. It will take time to go for flowchart or pseudocode. So the design specs are complete. So specification, I include the design specification here. It's also covered. Implementation means coding. So after design specs, what next is code. Coding, testing, maintenance, it's not given there, but validation testing. What is the difference between validation and verification? I covered the techniques in the testing. In the implementation phase, I covered coding techniques, testing techniques, maintenance techniques, deployment techniques, documentation techniques, validation, verification.
Validation is ready to use.
Validation is in the company, and the verification is the company, and the validation is the beta and the alpha.
Validation testing is to ensure that software is functioning according to customer requirements. And verification means software or product is functioning correctly or completed correctly. Like you do verification first, then you do validation. Like if your code, first you verify it's functioning, then you will test it's working according to the customer requirements or not. And verification starts from planning phase. Project specs, you verify. Then function specs, you verify. Design specs, you verify. Then code, you verify and then validate. The validation started after you writing the code. Validation testing, unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. These are the validation tests. And verification, we have reviews, like in Scrum, review, sprint review. And then you have shippable product, that anything missing in the sprint, cover that, and then it's ready to deploy at the customer side. And evolution is the perfective maintenance, update, upgrade, evolve, software evolve, perfective maintenance. So process activities completed. Now you have requirement analysis so far, functional specs or system requirement SRS. First we have requirement analysis, requirement gathering techniques, traditional techniques, modern interview, questionnaire survey, observation, group interview, study system documents, traditional, and modern prototype, JAD, GSS. Then analyst will extract the requirements, clear cut, functional and non-functional requirements, clear cut, prototype, JAD or GSS. And then you analyze. After doing that, you will do analyze, comparison of the current system with the new system. What are the differences in terms of functional requirement, what customer wants? The design, implementation, the testing, validation, and maintenance and evolution done. These are the process activities. We have requirement engineering process, feasibility, study. This is, as a general, we call it requirement engineering process. Requirement elicitation, the gathering techniques, the gathering and analysis to extract the functional requirements out of that. It's a skill. Then you have requirement specs. You model them. Then you have the backend, front-end architecture, back-end architecture. And then you validate the requirements. Is it what customer wants? By showing prototype, JAD. This is the diagrammatic figure of the requirement engineering process. You have feasibility, economic, technical, operational schedule, how much time you will take, how much cost you will charge to the customer, what are the tangible benefits, what are the intangible benefits. Requirement listing after the project specs approved, requirement elicitation, requirement gathering, analysis. Then you have requirement specs and you model them, and requirement validate by using JAD prototype. You will validate the requirements. Then user and system requirements. What are the system requirements? What are the user requirements? And you have the requirement specs ready after the including the data modeling. That is in general.
Doctor, and usually the requirement changes. If the requirement changes, isn't the feasibility study will change? Also?
Yes.
So why there is no coming back from that?
This is just to give you an idea, because we already covered the methodology part. If customer change requirements, agile, you go back and you ask the customer that this was my previous cost, this is the new cost, this was my previous schedule, this is the new schedule. If you are using National Unified Process, you can see inception is connected with communication and planning, elaboration is connected with the planning and the modeling. So you can go back, there was cycle to go back to the customer to change it. New cost, new schedule. Within a release. Welcome requirements at any scale. But that means you are asking the customer, you change the requirement, this was the new cost, this is the new schedule. Customer is happy, you are happy. Because you did not say no to the customer. You did not use any delay tactics. I will see later on. You were sleeping when I was collecting the requirements initially from you during this release, and suddenly, when I'm at the testing level, you wake up and you say, "This is a new requirement." It's irritating. It is irritating. Like I finished my lecture and you asked me a question what I discussed at the beginning of the lecture. That I covered whole lecture and you suddenly asked me, what was that you explained at the beginning? You were sleeping throughout the lecture. Why not you ask me at that time? It is irritating. But as a professional, you have to explain. Like I remember the previous lecture, this guy asked me the same question for the traditional and the customized methodology 3 times. Same question, but in different words. And I answered every time. I didn't say, why you don't understand for the first time? Because I say, you can ask me 10 times, 100 times, until you are clear. Even I asked my son, that if you are not clear, ask again and again till you are clear. Don't shy. Because question is the first step of learning. That means you are trying to understand. If no question means you are not pressurizing your mukh, your processor, to think, to learn. So if customer is interested, that is the reason he is asking to change as per his needs. So it's good that you change within that release with new cost, with new time. You are doing for this money. You are doing this for money. If he is paying you more for that release, what's the problem? It's not Quran. It's not Hadith. You cannot change. So we are here to serve to the customer. I'm here to teach to the students. If you ask me 3 times, no problem. If you can ask me 10 times, no problem. I should answer. I should not feel it. Why? At the last day you are asking to change the requirement, no problem. Until and unless he is not ready to pay extra, then there is a problem. Because he is changing the requirement and he is not ready to pay extra and not give me extra time, extra cost, then problem. If he is ready, okay. So that is the requirement engineering process. Time is up. Any question about today's lecture? Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.